What's up, visionaries? Oh my, when I tell you that this is by the rumor. See, this pullback, you got to know how to turn out the noise. The crypto market is known to be volatile. And this is what I always preach to you, that if you know the market is volatile, it is a strength. One of the most important things that you need to know about right now is that although Bitcoin's hitting all-time highs, Ethereum hit an all-time high, and most of the projects are getting closer to their all-time highs of the 10 billion, the tier ones in my 3C method, right? Once you realize that the interest rates need to come down, not because I want them to. Well, of course I do. We're in risk on assets. See, interest rates cuts benefits risk on assets. The reason why money is cheaper. It is easier to access capital when rates are cheaper. The banks gives out more loans, more mortgages will be approved, more people will be interested in buying houses. As you will see in this video that I am going to show you with Donald Trump, which I'm going to go ahead and get started right now because I'm excited about this presentation, guys. And I'm going to try to keep it pretty high and tight, pretty tight. All right. My screen, move my head, mute my mic, and I'm so just listen to what Donald Trump is saying. I'm going to pause it.
Some very good people for that position, and I think we have some very good people. We're down to, I think I maybe in my own mind have somebody that I like, but I deal with Scott and I deal with Howard, and we're dealing with a lot of people actually that are going to be involved in that decision ultimately. It's a very important decision. As we see, I got a bad recommendation when I went with Jerome Too Late. It's just, he's too late. His nickname is Too Late. Costing us a lot of money, hurting the housing. Our housing industry is good, but it could be phenomenal. Most of this country, in economic terms, has been phenomenal. We've never seen anything like it. Because of him and his high interest rates, the housing is less than it could be. We're going to get that.
I want you to pay attention to what he just said. Because of the high interest rates, housing is struggling. This is important to note because whatever the reason it may be, see, you got to be in the right place at the right time. Warren Buffett says this constantly, all the time. You have to be in the right place at the right time and being greedy when others are fearful, right? See, this market downturn is an opportunity to take a position. It's an opportunity to add to your portfolio. This is a very good time to start investing in these assets. I'm going to continue with the video.
That straightened out very quickly. He gets out very quickly, fortunately. He's been the wrong guy. Not a bad person, I don't think, but I do think he has motives, by the way, but I don't consider him. I've dealt with worse, but he hasn't done the job. The recommendation from a certain person was not a great recommendation. That person vouched for him, but we're doing a very careful study. We'll see what happens. Look, we just put a very good man in one position. We might switch him to the other. It's a longer term and pick somebody else, but we're very happy with the person we have in there, and we'll have a majority very shortly. So that'll be great. Once we have a majority, housing is going to swing, and it's going to be great. People.
Right there, guys. You don't have to be a genius. You just need to know what happens when you cut interest rates. See, I'm going to show you that the last crypto bull market, now whatever caused it or whatever it is, every time the rate cuts, it goes parabolic. What happened during COVID and the pandemic? What happened to the housing market during the pandemic? See, thing that a lot of you guys don't want to hear that I believe, cheaper price, you're going to have to position yourself in something that is going to capture the momentum of the cost of inflation. Because cutting interest rates is just going to turn. You need to have Bitcoin. You need to have some alternative to the dollar. That's why the BRICS is formed. The wall. See, his job as the president, right, is to keep you hopeful in your country, regardless of if it's collapsing or not. See, when Argentina, when Greece, when Rome fell, do you think they weren't trying to tell people? Like, do you think they came out and told people that it was collapsing? No. You try to hold the roof up for as long as you possibly can. He just said that when he takes control, they're going to have the majority. He put a guy in there already, and he's thinking about switching him to long term. Don't
term and pick somebody else, but we're very happy with the person we have in one position. We happens. Look, we just put a very good man in one position. We might switch him to the other. It's a longer term and pick somebody else, but we're very happy with the person we have in there. And we'll have a majority very shortly, so that'll be great. Once we have a majority, housing is going to swing, and it's going to.
Once we have a majority, housing is going to swing. I can't tell you this enough. You're in the right place at the right time. The projects that I have you guys invested in is because since the last cycle, I knew the institutional investors were coming. I didn't know Trump was going to be the guy because they were talking about it when Biden was in office, distributed ledger technology. See, when you pay me to make the picks that I do, it's because of the research that I've done. Like, I've been saying this for years. I've been making content publicly for about 5 years about cryptocurrency. I even know about the AI stuff. But I want to keep this focus on, we're in the fourth industrial revolution, guys. This crypto AI, it's the future. It's where everything is going. You spend most of your time online. You do most of your shopping online. You do most of your social networking online. You're building your personal brand online. There's some people who still do face-to-face or whatnot. But what I'm trying to tell you is that these interest rates are going to be cut. Even like this is, don't even worry about the next time when he comes out, that quarter basis point or the half basis point or whatever he's going to do. I want to just show you all the times that this guy has been threatening Jerome Powell. It's actually quite comical to me. Like, it's just like he's go. Sorry about that. Let me go over here. Play this.
Hack, not very good. He's not a smart guy, Brian. Sports fans have been very supportive. Go back to the original name. It was a mistake. I put him in, and then Biden. It was
Start
a
that
mistake.
over.
I put him in, and then Biden extended him. And Biden only extended him because he knew I couldn't stand him. And that turned out to be not a good thing for Biden. Although he did lower interest rates just prior to the election. Didn't work out too well for them. But he did lower them pretty substantially just prior to the election. No, he's a political hack. Not very good. He's not a smart guy, Brian. Mr. President, sports fans have been very supportive. Go back to the original name. It was a mistake. I put him in, and then Biden.
So that was one. Here's another one. Check this one out.
Because he's raising interest rates. I'm not saying.
In this hour with breaking news, our Joe Kernan just spoke with President Trump at the White House. A wide-ranging interview on everything from trade to Russia to the president's take on the Federal Reserve and the man he put in charge of it, Chairman Jerome Powell.
I put a very good man in the Fed. I don't necessarily agree with it because he's raising interest rates. I'm not saying that I agree with it, and I don't necessarily agree with it. I must tell you, I don't. I'm not thrilled. Because, you know, we go up, and every time you go up, they want to raise rates again. And I don't really, I am not happy about it. But at the same time, I'm letting them do what they feel is best. But I don't like all of this work that goes into doing what we're doing. You look at the euro, you look at what's going on with the EU, and they're not doing what we're doing. And we already have somewhat disadvantage, although I'm turning that into an advantage. You know, last year, and for years, we've been losing $150 billion with the EU nations, with the European Union. And they're making money easy, and their currency is falling. And China, their currency is dropping like a rock. And our currency is going up. And I have to tell you, it puts us at a disadvantage. Now, I'm just saying the same thing that I would have said as a private citizen. So somebody would say, oh, maybe you shouldn't say that as a president. I couldn't care less what they say, because my views haven't changed. I don't like all of this work that we're putting into the economy, and then I see rates going up. I see China where I mean, look at what's happening with their currency. It's dropping like a rock.
Then, now, see, he has a bunch of them. I want to go to this one here, right? So let me see. Did I go on? Here we go. Now, this is one, it doesn't have to do with interest rates, but I want you to see about why crypto. Where are they going? See, Secretary of Commerce Howard Lutnick says the department will start issuing statistics on the blockchain. Let's hear it.
The Department of Commerce is going to start issuing its statistics on the blockchain, because you are the crypto president, and we are going to put out GDP on the blockchain so people can use the blockchain for data distribution, and then we're going to make that available to the entire government so all of you can do it. We're just ironing out all the details so we can do it. Two more things. The Department of Commerce is going to start issuing its statistics on the blockchain, because you are the crypto president, and we are.
Now, that is just me showing you why cryptocurrency. They're going to put the GDP on the blockchain, right? So now they got to figure out which one it's going to be. I have a pretty good idea. You guys all do. Ethereum, right? Maybe Avalanche. I think Ethereum might be the one, right? So now I want to show you something here that, let me make myself smaller so you can see this. All right. It's all right. So I was telling you that the interest rates during the last cycle, right, was one of the most important things to note. See, market occurred from approximately 2020 to November 2021, during which Bitcoin's price surged from around $5,000 to a peak of nearly $69,000, right? And, you know, I like to bring out my trusty calculator, right? Let's see, 69,000. Incredible, right? So now, what I'm trying to show you here is look at that price gap that just went up. 5,000, what is that? 70 divided by 5 is what? I'm talking about, that's not 100x. It's not a 10x. I want you to look and see what that is, right? Do the math for me. Let me I'll do the math real quick here. Let me grab my calculator because this is important. Give me 1 second here. So I just want, because I put this in perspective. I know it's killing the flow of this, but this will also help. I should have put this up beforehand, but I didn't think about showing you this because this is something that you would see, that this is what happened the last time they had massive rate cuts, right? See, we had COVID, but now you got a president that the Federal Reserve is neutral, and I'm going to show you an article where it tells you that it's neutral and how many points Trump wants, right? And then just to do the housing market, right? So hold on, $5,000. So you see this, right? So people thought that Bitcoin couldn't 5x or 10x, right? And what I want to highlight here, right, is let me. So that's 1,280% return, right? From $5,000 to $69,000, right? Driven by factors, increased liquidity. What did I tell you about interest rates beforehand? It increases the liquidity. You have institutional adoption, even more so now. You have the president. You have Howard Lutnick telling you that they're putting the GDP on the blockchain, right? The perfect storm is brewing. You see, like this period coincided with historically accommodative monetary policy environment set by the US Federal Reserve, which significantly influenced risk on assets like cryptocurrencies. The Fed key benchmark, the federal funds rate, the target range at which banks lend to each other overnight, was maintained at ultra low levels to support economic recovery from COVID-19 pandemic. What do you think we're trying to do with the housing market? Would you say that's economic recovery? See, this is what I want you to start thinking like. I want you to see how you're in the right place. When are you going to make the money? It's coming, but don't be that idiot. And I'm going to say it. I don't mean to offend anybody when I say that. Don't be the idiot or the premature person who sells because it didn't make you a millionaire in 6 months, because it didn't make you a millionaire in 8 months. You get in now. I'll say it again. If you're somebody who hasn't built a portfolio with me, if you want to know how to capture that, message me. Get with me. Let's do a one-on-one portfolio building strategy. It's simple. I'm going to tell you exactly what to buy. And then we wait. And then not only do you wait, you keep building your bag because you need the clarity that you're in the right invested in, right? Blockchain technology. Howard Lutnick just said it, right? Then you have to know that you have the confidence in, I don't know if Mike knows what he's talking about, but you don't have to know. You can see right here. You see it. Interest rates driven by factors by increased price liquidity, institutional adoption, and speculative fervor. This period coincided with a historically accommodative monetary policy set by the US Reserve, right? Key interest levels. The federal interest rate range was 0 to a quarter basis. This is a near zero rate environment persisted for the entire duration of the bull market. The entire duration. Making borrowing cheap, boosting liquidity, and encouraging investment in high risk assets like crypto. Why? Because the money is cheap. And what does that mean? Like, I want to tell you what that is. This is where risk management and risk tolerance comes in. And this was something that I had to learn in order to grow my bag, right? Is that if the interest rates are that cheap on a credit card, right? And you can't use credit cards anymore, but you can pay bills on credit and use cash to buy crypto. Some, not your mortgage, though. There's creative ways. Not financial advice, by the way. I'm not a. You use your own risk and your own reward here, right? But what I want you guys, like, don't listen to me, like, because I know nothing, right? So then now average around 0 to 5%. See, this low rate policy was part of a broader strategy that included massive quantitative easing, where the Fed purchased trillions in bonds to inject liquidity into the financial system. Oh, well, who's that? The Fed purchased trillions in bonds? Hold on, I want to show you something. Show you something. See this, right? Trump goes on a dollar bond. History doesn't repeat itself, but it damn sure rhymes. This low rate policy was part of a broader strategy that included massive quantitative easing, where the Fed purchased trillions in bonds. Now, you might be thinking, I know what you're thinking. Donald Trump isn't the Federal Reserve. It's the same thing, it's trillions. What did he say in that video? Let me go back. Let me see.
In one position. We might switch him to the other. It's a longer term and pick somebody else, but we're very happy with the person we have in there. And we'll have a majority very shortly, so that'll be great. Once we have a majority, housing is going to swing and it's going to be great. People are paying too high an interest rate. That's the only problem with housing. We have to get the rates down a little bit. And when we do, it's going to be a tremendous difference.
Again, let me tell you, it's not just what I say, it's what I show you. And that's not me, that's not AI, that's not a recording. That is your current president telling you exactly that they're going to lower rates, quantitative easing, trillions in bonds. He just bought 100 million in bonds. Do you think on a lower interest rate, he's not going to buy more bonds that have quantitative easing? See, and now this is what I was telling you. Lower interest rates historically correlate with crypto bull runs because they reduce the opportunity cost of holding non-yield assets like Bitcoin, increase available capital for speculation, and signal economic stimulus. During this period, the influx of cheap money contributed to a market capitalization exceeding 3 trillion by late 2021. I can't tell you anymore that you're in the right place at the right time. Please do not sell your crypto. So now, I want you to see this. See where they were cut from. See pre-cut level, January 2020, right? It was 1.5, 1.7 low. The emergency cut was 0.5. That was what 0.5. 50 basis points is what was cut that last crypto bull run. Incredible. Absolutely incredible, guys. This is what I want you guys to see, is that you're in the right place at the right time. Interest rates are going to be cut, and this market is going to take off like a rocket ship. You have more bullish narratives. The NFTs this time is real world assets. The NFT, like I'm telling you guys have no idea. I don't know when. I'm not on it. Only thing I do is keep you update. I can tell you if you hold 6 or 7 months, 8 months, you're going to see a lot of money. You're going to be very happy. See, these cuts total 1.5 percentage points, effectively reducing rates from the pre-pandemic level of 1.5, 1.0. Now, right. So now let me show you something here. Look at this. What the current funds rate is, right? See, he wants to go back. He wants to go back to that pre-pandemic. See, it was 4.25. Why do I say he wants to go back? First, what is this? 2020, right? We're here in 2020. Just look at this. You don't have to listen to what I say. Just read the messages on the board. Pre-pandemic, what were the rates? 1.50, 1.75, right? Now, what's the current rate? 4.25, 4.5, right? Now, this is what he wants. Let me move myself out the way. Back up here, show you that this is a current article, right? And yes, I read. That's what you pay me to read. But you can look at the same one. I want you to see. White House ramps up pressure on Fed's Powell 3 weeks before the next interest rate decision. Let me see if I can get a date on here somewhere. How old is this? Let's see. Is it further down? There it is. July 11th, 2025. This came out, right? President Donald Trump pressure campaign against the Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell to lower interest rates entered a new front this week, right? I already showed you the latest line of attack. I showed you these videos, right? But now let's see. Boom, boom, boom. Where is it? Right here. So now, remember when he was talking about China? I think it was in this one here. Let me see.
Extended him, and Biden only extended him because he knew I couldn't stand him, and that turned out to be not a good thing for Biden.
Hold on. No, that ain't it. I think this one's it. Yeah, here it is.
In this hour with break.
Because, you know, we go up, and every time you go up, $1 billion with the EU nations, with the European Union. For years, we've been losing $150 billion with the European Union, and they're making it easy, and their currency is falling. And China, their currency is dropping like a rock, and our currency is going.
I'm running longer than I wanted to. I didn't want this to be a 30-minute video. This is just a huge nugget. Like, this is just a huge deal. I'm trying to build excitement. Like, I want you to see this here, right? Let's go back. The Federal Reserve is the world's most important central bank. It was established to make independent monetary policy decisions and is responsible for key national functions such as distributing dollars and coins, acting as the government's bank, and even processing checks. Its board members and governors typically serve across multiple presidential terms. When the central bank makes a decision to lower, raise, or keep interest rates steady, its 12-member Federal Open Market Committee votes on that decision. In theory, the Fed chair could be outvoted at any meeting if the rest of the committee disagrees with his or her views. If he has the majority, do you think they're going to agree with Jerome Powell? Like, based on what you've seen in those videos, do you think that people that Trump appoints is going to agree with Jerome Powell, right? But the plot thickens here, right? Interest rates decisions have wide-ranging impacts for not only American consumers and businesses, but for the global economy, which is why the independence of the Fed is so important. Rate decisions could lower and raise borrowing costs for anyone who has a mortgage, car loan, credit card, or personal loan. That is how you stimulate an economy. That's one of the ways. Drop the rates. Go get the car you've been waiting for. Go refinance on your mortgage. Take out a personal loan. Buy some crypto. So, not financial advice, just a joke. More recently, Trump has expanded his attacks to include the committee, saying that they should be ashamed of current policy. The board just sits there and watches, so they're equally to blame. We should be paying, what does he say? We should be paying 1% interest or better. Trump said in a social media posting, Trump nominated Powell during his first term and nominated 2 other currently serving Fed board members as well. What does he say here? Drum roll, please. Our Fed rate is at least 3 points too high, Trump said on Truth Social this week. What did I say? That he wants it to go back to 1%. Our Fed rate has to be at least 3 points cut. What's 3 points from that? And that's all I'm trying to say, folks. If you're somebody who needs to get your portfolio in order, you need to book that one-on-one strategy call. It's just $200, but I promise you it'll be the best $200 you spent before you put another dime in the crypto market. So guys, with that being said, don't just survive the 4th Industrial Revolution. Let's thrive in it. And you are in the right place at the right time. All you have to do is hold your position. You don't have to move. You don't have to be fancy. You don't have to do anything crazy. You have to be in the right assets that are going towards this momentum, though. You can't be chasing dog and meme coins. A rising tide lifts all boats. But the smart money and the real money is going to be in the Bitcoin, Ethereum, Avalanche, Ondo. Crypto market is going to go parabolic, guys. And again, let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you want to book a strategy call, if you're over there in the starter community, just give me a call. Send me a message in the community.